everyone, it's Keely here for Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for today's video. First up, Happy New Year to everyone. I really do hope that 2025 is going to be a good year, and hopefully we're going to see some improvements in that small business world and everyone's going to have a really good one. Now for me, 2024 was probably one of the toughest years I have ever gone through with my business, and there were a lot of very scary times, a lot of tears behind the camera, wondering just what I'm actually doing. But I really do have very high hopes for 2025. I also have to keep reminding myself that 2024 was really a very unusual year for me. At the end of every year, I usually set myself goals, plans, do a little business plan for the year and that sort of thing. And everything that I had planned for 2024, not quite everything, probably about 80% of what I had planned for 2024 just went poof and out the window, and we didn't achieve it. But I did achieve a little bit of some of the plans I had put in place. However, I have moved a lot of that sort of goals and business planning forward to 2025, and hopefully we'll get through them. I can't be too hard on myself. I keep telling myself this because 2024 saw some major changes for us. And I'm still waiting, hopefully in 2025, to see if these changes have really been a positive thing and are going to do for us what we were hoping they would do. So we moved house, which was definitely the right move. We absolutely love our new life up here, but we also moved the business up to the Sunshine Coast from the Redlands Coast, and it has been like taking 10 steps back and becoming a brand new business again. But I'm slowly getting my name out there on the Sunshine Coast, which has been really good. And hopefully 2025 is going to see that sort of grow a little bit more as well. I have got so much planned for 2025. I've got lots of new products. I have just launched the deodorants. I have also been working on more car air fresheners. I'll be bringing out more earrings throughout the year as well. Earrings have always been a big passion of mine. I love wearing earrings. I love the fact that it doesn't matter who you are, what size you are, what your personality is, what your likes and dislikes are. Earrings fit everyone that have got their ears pierced. So I've always had this passion for earrings, and although it doesn't really have a lot to do with everything else that I do, it is a passion I have for, and I decided having a little pampering for your ears can always make you feel really good as well. So I decided to introduce that into the range this year. There is so much more I have planned. I have perfume oils that I'll be bringing out. I'm working on a new range of shower fizzes. We've not had any updates in those in years, so I'm hoping to actually revisit that and look at how I do my shower fizzes, possibly even changing the name of them to shower steamers to be in line with everyone else. I'll see what I feel like when it comes time to doing the packaging, but there is so much planned for 2025. With all that being said, what we are going to do today is jump in and make a soap which I've called Summer Watermelon. I have done watermelon soaps in the past, and I always try to do my watermelon soaps a little bit differently to how everyone else does. But this year I decided to go with that sort of classic look of the green layer on the bottom with that little bit of greeny white through the middle and then the red top, and I put poppy seeds in it for exfoliation. And then I used a blend of watermelon fragrance oil and peppermint essential oil, and I absolutely love how this watermelon soap has come out. So let's go and see how I make my summer watermelon soap. Let's go. Alright, we are all set and ready to go. Everything is down to room temperature. Just gently pouring in my lye water, avoiding any splashback. We'll give it a mix and then we'll start splitting it up for the colours. Alright, so I've only just mixed that to emulsion because I need to work in a couple of layers. I am going for a very classic watermelon soap. If you've watched any of my past watermelon soaps, which I will leave links to, you'll know that I usually try and do something a little bit different, creating embeds and things like that. But this soap is actually going to be a part of the little extras range. So it's the actual ingredients which are going to stand out in this one rather than the design. So into these pots here, in my smaller one I have got some elusive, and in this bigger one I have got some Caribbean green, and these are going to make that classic rind that you see on so many watermelon soaps. I'm going to go for a little bit more. Alright, so I'm going to get those two mixed in. Alright, so I've mixed those up a little bit more than what I normally would. I've kind of brought them almost past that light trace, which is where you just start to see the trails of the soap on the top when you kind of dance it around. In fact, I've probably taken this one a lot closer to medium trace, but that is because I want to do layers with my soap and I don't want to be hanging around for hours waiting for it to set up. So we've got those looking pretty good. I'll give the lighter one a mix in a moment. What I'm going to do is just grab my very, very full beaker here. It's funny how sometimes it's fuller than others, and that is all to do with why we weigh our ingredients rather than measure them by volume, because different volumes have different weights, and with that particular blend something obviously has a much lighter weight, and I'm suspecting it's my peppermint oil. I have a blend of a watermelon fragrance oil and peppermint essential oil, and in that blend about 20% of it is the peppermint essential oil, so it's going to thin this out just a little bit. I'm going to give that a bit of a mix, and then we're going to grab the mold and pour it in there, trying to get that real classic look that you get on a watermelon. So I've got that one mixed in. Give this one a bit more of a mix, making sure to scrape as much of the colour off the bottom of the jug as possible. And I'm thinking I may have left myself just enough room in this pot, or in this jug, hopefully just enough to do an in the pot swirl with my greens. Alright, we'll grab the mold, nothing too fancy. I'm just going to pour that into the bottom there, and I can already see we're getting that beautiful sort of mottled look that we get on the rind of a watermelon. I probably did save myself too much green, or make up too much green, but oh well, too late now. Something I always do, but I know so many people, especially like Lisa, she's so good. She weighs out all the different parts, and I know some of that is also to do with the rulings in the European Union and stuff like that, but some people are really, really good at measuring out all their layers. I just like to wing it and make them look really, really unique. Gonna get that one all scraped out and then pop it to one side so it can start to set up. Alright, this is almost set up enough, so I'm just going to pop it to one side, and we're going to move on to that next sort of real classic layer where you get that white, yellowy, greeny sort of layer between the skin and the fruit. And we're not going to need a lot. I say that all the time and then pour off way too much, but I have got my smaller jug here, and I'm going to say that is going to be enough there. Now I'm not actually going to add any fragrance to this layer, mainly because I've got this at a really nice texture that I can pour it onto there and won't have to wait too long to do the red. If I pour my fragrance in here, it is going to thin it out. Looking really pleased with that. Now to make that colour, I have got a really pale green. I did it by mixing a whole heap of micas together, but it was a really pale green. This is it here. There were just all these samples I had that I threw into one jar, and then I added in some titanium dioxide as well, just to get that real pale look. I'm just going to pour it gently across my soap using the spatula to break that fall. It's well and truly set, so scrape this one out. And then I'm just going to wiggle my mold. May have gone just a little bit too violently down this end, but... And then I'm just going to use my spatula just to finish pushing it over into the ends. We're not going to get a really straight layer, but that's okay because the rinds on watermelons are not always straight. So just going to turn it around so I can get into this corner down here without doing acrobats. Alright, so now I've got that really nice layer. While we mix up the rest of the soap, that should begin setting nicely. Alright, so just with the rest of this soap, I've just given the bucket a bit of a scrape down to make sure that we've got all of the soap into the bucket there. What I'm going to do is add in, let's go for some Trial by Fire. I actually prefer really red, but we'll go the Trial by Fire because it does give that slightly pinker red colour. I'm going to put maybe a little bit more to get a nice red in here. And also into here I'm going to add in some poppy seeds as well, just to give it a bit of exfoliation and make it look like we've got the watermelon seeds. I'm going to give that a mix, and I add my poppy seeds in here now because the blender's going to crush some of those seeds up and will give lots of different sort of textures. Got the stick blender all cleaned off. Let's get our fragrance in here, which will thin this out a little bit. Again, just trying to scrape what I can. I can still see I've got some uncoloured soap sitting on the rim of this bucket. Alright, let's grab our mould back. And then I'm just going to use my spatula once again. The greeny, whitey colour should be pretty much set, but just in case, I'm going to use my spatula just to pour this soap. And because my red is a lot runnier, I don't have to move it as quickly. Oh, down the mould, it should actually just start flowing. But as I start filling it up, I'm going to move down. Oop, so we don't fill up the one end and have it all flow out. Let me pour the rest of this in here. Now that we've actually broken stopped that bottom bit breaking through, we can now actually pour it in without the spatula. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I have left links in this video to my previous watermelon soaps where I actually make a watermelon embed. And quite often when I do that, I get people saying that they can't see the links or they don't know how to access the links. And I must admit that YouTube has made it a lot more difficult these days to access those links. Once upon a time when we all used to watch our YouTube on computers, we used to be able to click on the top right hand corner and the videos would pop up and we could actually then navigate to the next one. But most of us these days are now actually watching on mobile devices, and they don't always come up in that corner, especially if we're watching on the TV. I haven't yet worked out how to do it on the TV. I'll have to have a little bit of a play around and give an update. But these days, if a creator says that they've left links to a video and you are on a mobile device, all you need to do is click on the video and bring up the description box. And then at the bottom of that description box, generally you'll find all the linked videos down the bottom. And then you can actually click on the videos to go and see the other ones which are relevant to the video that you are currently watching. So they have been listening and they have made that a little bit easier to do now. I actually think this is too, in fact I don't think, I know that this is too fluid right now to do the spoon top, so I'm going to leave it for a couple of minutes just to set up a little bit more. Alright, so it's only taken about a minute and it's now actually got a much better texture, so we can do a nice little top on here. I love the smell of this soap. This is actually one, as a bit of a spoiler alert, depending at what point I bring this video out, this is one of the soaps that I did for the advent calendar this year. It comes as a little mini version, and I made it up because I had the intention of making up a body scrub, which is out in the range now, and I decided I wanted a watermelon one, but I wanted something not just watermelon. I wanted it to be fresh and bright and zingy, and added that peppermint oil into it, and absolutely loved it in the scrub, and decided to make it as a soap for the advent calendar for this year. And then I decided that, well, I wanted to have it as a big soap to add into the range as well. So that is why we are making our watermelon splash today. I'm just going to get that little bit off. I hate wasting soap. These little end bits, it doesn't matter if it's got a little bit extra on there because it is just the end piece. What I've got in here, I've just poured out a few more of the poppy seeds that are in there, just because my poppy seeds are all underneath. I want to put a layer on the top as well. So I'm just going to use my little brush and really bring up those poppy seeds on the top here as well. So I'm just going to finish that. Now I'm not going to add any glitters or anything. This is all about the poppy seed, the bright fresh peppermint essential oil that is in it as well. May as well use all of these seeds because I'm not going to try and get them back into the little bag that they came out of, and some of these will probably fall off when we go to do the cut anyway. So let's just get them all on there, or on the bench. Just to make sure that they do actually stick, I'm going to give this a knock on my bench, and that just helps to into the soap. Very technical term there. But there it is. There is watermelon splash. I'm going to leave this one set up, and we'll be back in a moment and we'll cut it open. We are back to cut into our watermelon splash, and this one is smelling so good. That peppermint oil really takes away the sweetness that some of the watermelon fragrances have about them. Now I'm going to be lining this one up a little bit oddly on my soap cutter. If you watched the pomegranate soap that I made during the cut, one of my wires pinged off. I have a couple of soaps that I actually need to cut. It is Sunday afternoon and I would like to go home. It's actually been a really quiet day in the shop. I've only had one customer come in today. In fact, it's been a very quiet week. I don't think Christmas is going to be as good this year as what it usually is, but there it is. But because it has been super quiet, I have actually had a bit of a soaping marathon. I made 4 soaps today, plus some little rays of sunshine, but I am wanting to go home and don't want to rewire my soap cutter right now, so we're going to cut it a little bit funny. So I'll take this one off and just pop that to one side for now. And this is going to be very simple on the inside, very classic style of watermelon soap that so many do. But like I said, it is the peppermint essential oil in this one and the poppy seeds, which are the actual star of this soap rather than the actual design. So I'm really pleased with how it's come up. I love the swirls in the green rind and that layer of white in the middle there. It's just come up the perfect color because it's never really truly white. When you look at a watermelon, it's got that slightly yellowy green tinge to it, and I think I've managed to capture that just perfectly. So these are all pretty much going to be the same as we go along this one here. So I'm not going to show you the rest of the sort of cutting there, but there's a few more. I hope you've enjoyed coming along with me as I made my watermelon splash soap. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below. And until the next video comes out, I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you then. Bye.